welcome to the JFK Conspiracy Channel. This channel will be going over events, people, coincidences, theories, and other things that do not add up about the JFK assassination. Today, we will be going over the timeline leading up to the assassination and what happened after the assassination. Here's the start of the timeline. We'll be going as far back as October 1959, even though the assassination took place November 22nd, 1963. To start off, we will begin with Lee Harvey Oswald defecting to the USSR. Now, Oswald learned about communism at a young age when he visited his local library and read books such as the Communist Manifesto, and he soon began to identify himself as a Marxist. Then going on to May 24th, 1962, Oswald wishes to come back to the United States because he discovers that the USSR is not all what it is cracked up to be. Then he comes back with his own wife, Marina, and child, June. Then soon, over to March 1963, Oswald orders the Carcano, which several people agree was the rifle that killed John F. Kennedy. Then, in May, Oswald starts his own Fair Play for Cuba campaign in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, this gets him into some trouble because local people do not agree with his pro-Castro ideas, and Oswald soon begins to testify that Cuba is the true holder of communism, not the USSR. It's September 27th. Oswald arrives in Mexico City, where he wishes to get a visa that will allow him to go to Cuba, because it is illegal in the United States to go to Cuba. He arrives, and in order to go to Cuba, he must have a visa from the USSR. He goes to the Russian embassy, but they do not grant him his visa, and he leaves furious. Then, in October 2nd, he arrives back in Dallas, Texas, to go back to his daily life and find a job, because he was in and out of jobs throughout his whole life and could not find one. On October 16th, luck has it that Lee Harvey Oswald gets the job at the Texas School Book Depository. Then, on November 19th, the soon motorcade route of the president was announced. This proves that Oswald knew the motorcade route and decided to get a job at the Texas School Book Depository, where supposedly the assassin was and killed JFK. November 22nd is the day that the shooting took place in Dealey Plaza, and is the day that JFK's life was taken from him. And then soon after, November 24th, Oswald was killed by Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner who had some ties to the mob. Now we will be going over times of events that took place on November 22nd, such as the shooting took place at 12:30 in Dealey Plaza. Then the descriptions of this supposed assassin went out at 12:45, 12:48, and 12:55, not long after the shooting. 90 seconds after the shooting, Oswald is on the second floor. Now, you have to keep in mind that the shooting happened on the 6th floor, supposedly. Now, Oswald had to get out of his sniper's nest, take his rifle, and wipe it clean of any fingerprints, because there were no fingerprints that were found on the rifle after the police got hold of the rifle. He wiped his fingerprints off of it, threw it in a couple of boxes where no one would see. Then he had to go downstairs all the way to the second floor, not look winded whatsoever, and get a Coke out of the vending machine before officers came into the building and questioned him. Now, that is pretty hard to do, because most people do get winded after going down 2 flights of stairs. But 6 floors is a lot to deal with. Then, at 12:40, Oswald boarded a city bus because, in his mind, he thought, well, the workday is over, the president got shot, and there probably won't be any more work today. So he boarded a bus. He couldn't take the bus that was outside of Dealey Plaza because of all the chaos and turmoil that took place that day. So he had to go to a different bus stop, where he boarded the bus, and then there was a traffic jam that occurred, so he had to get off the bus and took a taxi. Now, what's weird about Oswald is that he normally takes buses, because he doesn't have a license to drive. So him taking a taxi is kind of out of character, but he was an supposedly in a hurry to get home because if he was the assassin, he would want to leave the scene of the crime. Soon after, Officer J.D. Tippit is killed at 1:15. Now, Lee Harvey Oswald is the supposed killer of Officer J.D. Tippit, where Oswald walked a couple blocks away from his house, and the officer stopped him and started asking questions, and Oswald looked anxious and didn't want any part of the police, because Oswald has a record of defying authority and does not like those types of characters. So he pulled a .38 revolver out of his pants, and he shot and killed Officer J.D. Tippit. That is the speculation, and that is what most eyewitnesses say, and who the killer was Oswald. Then Oswald goes into town and hides in a movie theater, and watches a movie. Now, officers arrive at the scene because, supposedly Oswald killed 2 people that day, the President of the United States and a cop. So he hid in the movie theater, and word got out, and officers went in and tried to arrest him, but he came back with force. Then he said, "I'm resisting arrest," while they tackled him to the ground. Now, he was taken at the police station at 2 p.m., just 45 minutes after killing someone, supposedly. Now, here's where things get a little even weirder. Police work is taken in great consideration, and it has to be right on the dot if they want to get someone guilty. Now, but when Oswald went into the interrogation room, no records were kept. No records were kept. No video recordings. Those didn't really happen back then, but there were audio recordings, and they also wrote down notes of what Oswald said. But that never happened this day, which is very weird, since it would happen with any other criminal, but not the person who killed the President of the United States. And then afterwards, Oswald was arranged for the assassination at 1:30 a.m. 2 days later, Oswald was walking out of the police headquarters of Dallas, Texas, and was killed by Jack Ruby, a local nightclub owner, and who also had some ties to the mob. Now, what I've just put forth is just a little timeline and overview of things that were leading up to the assassination, and mostly Oswald, because he is the infamous lone gunman who fired 3 consecutive shots in 6 seconds with a bolt-action rifle that had very low accuracy and with a scope that wasn't even sighted in. But that's neither here nor there. I will be getting into that later. And just a lot of things don't add up that day. Later on, I will be going more in depth with Oswald and his personal life and what made him want to kill our late 35th President of the United States. Thank you for watching.